Algorithms are at the heart of our technological world. They help us decipher things like traffic patterns and the weather, and are present in graphic design and artificial intelligence. With algorithms powering social media, what could go wrong? Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gamer Crafting channel. I am Angie, indie yarn dyer in general mess, and today we are taking a deep dive into the dark and twisted web of social media and search engine algorithms and what they mean for small businesses, especially small creative businesses. These days, posting on social media feels almost mandatory, whether you're baking a loaf of sourdough bread or showing off new craft supply purchases. Anyone who has ever posted on social media will be keenly aware of the sometimes incredibly frustrating ebb and flow of likes, comments, and shares. What we all discovered very early on is the importance of organic reach. Organic reach is the number of people or accounts that have seen your post, video, pin, or tweet. Early on in the halcyon infant days of social media, you could count on a decent number of people seeing your post if you posted when most people were online. The internet was awash with guides on when to post for every different platform, how to reach the maximum number of people simply by posting at the correct time. Then, algorithms entered the mix. When Facebook and Instagram, and then later Twitter, did away with their traditional chronological feeds, people were really angry. Suddenly, the posts that they saw were wildly out of order, now decided by a seemingly arbitrary set of rules that determined what was the most popular. In the early days of Facebook, a compelling post from a page would reach 15 to 20% of the fans of the page. In 2020, that average had dropped to a mere 5.2%. Instagram is about the same, averaging between 3 and 6% organic reach. These companies make their money from advertisements, so it's not hard to see why rates of organic engagement continue to fall. What has become apparent is that negative content gets engagement. Whether it's the YouTube autoplay sending people down strange conspiracy theory rabbit holes about 5G and flat Earth, or snarky call-out memes on Facebook, or the sometimes bullying nature of Instagram, posting negativity gets you those sweet, sweet clicks. When you have a post on Facebook or Instagram that generates a lot of organic engagement, especially comments and shares, the next thing that you post will be pushed out to a slightly higher percentage of your followers. This means that people are motivated to post negative content to try and continue the now throttled organic growth. For example, let's take a look at two of our Instagram posts. One, posted on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. GMT, a motivational, if slightly twee, sentiment meant to be something nice to see while scrolling. At the time of writing the script, it had 112 likes. Now, another post, also posted on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. GMT, a snarkier, edgier post that hits back at fatphobia. At the time of writing, it had over 1,500 likes and 110 comments. This isn't to say that we shouldn't expose hatred in our communities or fight back against systemic oppression. It's just to highlight that outrage is more likely to get engagement. We want to show our solidarity, or in some cases, tell a brand why they're wrong. But how many positive posts are then getting buried in our feeds? A recent and unofficial poll suggested that people crave more positivity in their social media feeds. They're tired of every single post pulling up negative emotions, making them feel tired, run down, burned out, or exhausted. Yet positive posts are consistently not what we engage with. The human brain is wired in a frustratingly outdated and unevolved way, reacting much stronger to negative stimuli than to positive stimuli. The chemicals that our brains swim around in are potent, allowing us to store memories, recognize patterns, and innovate. This cocktail of hormones is what allowed the human race to survive, but it's also why it's easier to motivate people with fear than with hope. We've all seen the disastrous and deadly consequences of what happens when social media doesn't regulate these posts. Conspiracy theories, plots to overthrow governments, genocide in Myanmar. A study conducted by professors at MIT showed that fake news and disinformation get shared 70 times more than factual articles and posts. And yet, Facebook, who have influence over a third of the world's population, has done little to stem the flow of these posts. And yet, just this week, however, they shut down news pages in Australia after being threatened with regulations. Their priorities are crystal clear. Small businesses, especially small creative businesses, are swimming against the tide of fake news and disinformation. Who wants to share a post from a local baker when you can instead share a sick meme dunking on a politician that you hate? With those measly organic reach percentages, small businesses today are being set up for failure on Instagram and on Facebook. Small businesses are less likely to share negative outrage content than a satirical news publication or a 4chan-style meme account. Many times, if we do post political or personal things that err on the negative side of the scale, we're told that's not why people follow us. It's not what they want to see. This is magnified for small businesses that are owned by marginalized people. We've seen time and again on Instagram that while people are more than happy to consume marginalized pain, they are fundamentally uninterested in activism that would lessen that pain. We could do an entire video on the irreparable damage that mass reporting has done to small businesses, getting some people banned from the platforms they'd spent years working to build up. Many times, this mass reporting is the result of somebody daring to speak up about racism, or homophobia, or transphobia. Add in the constant and ever-present stream of content mill accounts, and the frustration for small businesses builds. Imagine for a moment that you are a small business owner. You schedule time to get beautiful photos for Instagram, to promote your product, to inspire, to connect with your audience. It takes time to get good photography. It is a skill that many businesses sink time and money into, from taking a few classes to getting an entry-level DSLR camera, to the props and the time that it takes to stage and take photos. And now some weird account called love_knitting_ a whole bunch of numbers is reposting all of your content and the content of others without crediting and asking people to follow them. For a while, many people weren't sure why this was happening. What were they going to do with an account full of knitting enthusiast followers? Once the drop shipping started, though, it all became very clear. These algorithmically generated accounts used algorithms to pull and repost content, and many of the "I'm a knitter, hear me roar" style designs were then happily flogged once they reached several thousand followers. These products were printed and shipped by third parties, netting the owners of these algorithmic accounts a tidy profit, despite the quality of many of these items being supremely subpar. Then there are the dodgy craft accounts that build up huge followings just to sell the account to an advertiser who wants to sell bargain basement craft supplies or cleaning supplies or whatever it is that they're trying to sell. Instagram accounts can easily buy 1,000 fake followers for as little as $12.99. You can purchase comments, likes, shares, and saves. The same is true for Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, and Twitter. These fake engagements do not fool the almighty algorithms, and in many cases they can actually hurt your account, so I don't recommend using that to build your business. But let's take a moment to think about the impacts that would have on social proof. Social proof is the marketing idea that people will follow the actions of the masses. If you're scrolling through Instagram and a post has thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, you are far more statistically likely to stop and engage with that post. If so many other people found it interesting, there must be a reason, right? And that's how fake likes and comments bought online and executed by robot accounts can influence what posts make it to the top of your feed. If you'd like to hear more about that specifically, drop a comment below and I might add it to the list for future deep dive video topics. Every social media platform has rules built into their algorithms that hamstring attempts to get more organic reach than they should. This is why competitions on Instagram and Facebook aren't as prevalent now. At one time, it was common to see competitions asking you to like the post, comment, tag a friend, share for an entry. Now posts with those words in the caption are flagged by the algorithm and pushed down. Platforms want businesses to spend their money with them, not on prizes for their followers. Several years ago, there was a panic in social media business circles. Instagram was shadow banning people, pushing down their posts in feeds, hiding their posts from hashtags and the explore page. Instagram has always resoundingly denied this, but last year, Adam Mosseri, one of the executives for the company, admitted that hashtags and the explore page will not show content that the algorithm determines is inappropriate or objectionable. What I would ask is, well, who determines what is inappropriate or objectionable? As many viewers will no doubt have experienced, the rules on Facebook comments certainly seem disproportionately applied, and independent studies have shown just that. Women and other minorities are disproportionately affected by these vague rules, with many LGBT hashtags being limited or removed. This is in part due to the faulty face recognition software that these algorithms use to detect nudity. I myself have had dozens of photos of yarn denied or pulled down off the platform because the algorithms see it as body parts, not as skeins or balls. And before you ask, no, it doesn't matter whether they're skeined or wound into a ball, they just get flagged just the same. And it's not just the social media platforms doing everything that they can to undermine small-time creatives. Just a few months ago, Spotify announced that they would be opening an opt-in program for independent musicians to agree to an even lower rate of pay per stream in exchange for being pushed into more playlists. It's payola all over again, and this time there are no regulations that can touch it. Some small businesses, even craft businesses, have succeeded in closing down their social media accounts, but maintaining a profit. In most cases, those businesses already have very large followings and have brick and mortar locations, which for a fee will show up in Google search results when someone is looking for a local shop. Those of us without storefronts can't use that particular functionality. Some of you might be wondering, well, why not just run ads then? Advertisements on social media platforms and search engines are run by a bidding system. Sometimes you can set a budget for the maximum you want to pay per click, but in many cases, all you can do is set your target audience and your daily or total budget for the ad. Ads can take many forms, from carousels with multiple images to video to a single image with a caption. There are tons of courses you can find free online on how to build ads, and there are also thousands of business gurus that line up for the chance at selling you their totally undisputed light-speed business explosion course for the low price of several thousands of pounds or dollars. I don't recommend those gurus. Facebook targeting nowadays is frighteningly accurate. That's because the overwhelming majority of the information that they have on us isn't from things that we input, like searches or posts that we make, but from metadata. Metadata can be location data, or if you have in-home devices like Alexa or Nest, data that it picks up from you going about a normal day at home. In fact, Nest, now owned by Google, can determine via algorithms if someone at home is sick, and then use that data to promote cold remedies to you in your feeds and in your search results. Algorithms have become incredibly adept at behavior prediction. They have billions of people on the planet using these platforms, and search engines collated information that they can use to predict what you will want to buy next. In 2012, a number of articles surfaced claiming that Target had predicted a teen girl's pregnancy before she knew she was pregnant herself, sending her a coupon book of maternity products and baby clothing. This is because Target assigns a guest ID number that is tied to their credit card, name, or email address. They use metadata based on your purchase history to predict on what products you will want next and send you emails advertising those specific products. That story was likely just that. It was a story written by Charles Duhigg just before his book launched. The article didn't include any concrete references to how Target would have predicted a pregnancy and merely insinuated that it was due to data collection. It was refuted by the data engineers that worked directly on the project, and besides, Target doesn't send coupon books with only baby items in it anyway. But it does give us a bit of pause to think about just how much data is collected on us and how much of it is outside of our consent. The Target story highlights our fears and misconceptions about big data. backed up by documentaries, YouTube videos, uncanny personal experiences, and The Social Dilemma on Netflix. As early as 1970, journalists for the New York Times were sounding the alarm, warning about the implications of digitizing data. While there are huge swaths of data about us being used to advertise to us, it's frequently inaccurate, missing the nuance of a situation. For example, several years back, I was looking for a heated air to purchase. So I spent a few days researching, I made a purchase, and then I had nothing but ads for heated airers for an entire month afterwards, as if I do so much laundry that I require more than one of those particular household appliances. However, the pile of laundry metamorphizing into some sort of laundry monster in my bedroom probably implies otherwise. Facebook and Instagram ads can be great for small businesses, so long as you know how to target the right people and split test your ads. And oh, by the way, you better make sure there isn't more than 20% text on your ad, because Mark Zuckerberg made an arbitrary decision that ads with too much text are boring. Using our most recent ad as an example, you can see here that I spent £30 to advertise this photo and link for the Davy Jones locker yarn from the Under the Sea collection. I targeted women and men aged 25 to 50 with interests in knitting and crochet. I narrowed my segment by not targeting people with interests in popular big box yarn brands because they are less likely to want to buy hand-dyed yarn. I narrowed again, only targeting people that live in the UK due to shipping concerns. I received a reach of 9,686 different people with 183 link clicks through to the website for an average of 16 pence per link click. For me, that's a well-performing ad, but I've also spent years split testing, narrowing my audience, and researching. My very first ad, placed in September of 2017, had a budget of $10, reached 157 people with a cost per click of $3.20. I've also had a number of ads rejected, sometimes because the yarn looks too inappropriate, or because we used hashtag knitters of Instagram in the caption, or because we were trying to fundraise for raíces in Texas who help asylum seekers at the USA-Mexico border. Appealing to these decisions sometimes works, but rarely. In order for an ad to perform well, you have to have enough money to test, whittle, improve, and many marginalized small businesses won't have that. I certainly didn't, and spent over 3 years with tiny $10 ad spends to try and learn what I could. This favors large companies with immense advertising budgets, and that includes yarn too. Some of the larger companies have spent upwards of £20,000 a month on Facebook advertising alone, and I don't know any small businesses that have anywhere near that much. Facebook has been inundated with ads for drop-shipped products. Dropshipping is when someone sets up a storefront with products that they do not produce or stock. When an order is placed, it gets routed through their storefront and automatically sends a notification to a warehouse to dispatch the item. In many cases, these items are not as described. Many have fallen prey to ordering things from AliExpress or Wish, only to receive something that looks and feels very different than what was advertised. More and more people are swearing off buying from Facebook ads entirely as a result. They've received one too many oddly sized plant pots or dysfunctional kitchen gadgets to keep gambling with their money, and honestly, who could blame them? These companies with no overhead costs and no stock can spend all of their business budget on ads, and it's squeezing out people who run traditional businesses. In 2016, thousands of ads were placed and run that impacted both the Brexit referendum in the UK and the 2016 USA presidential election. As a result, ads now have to be verified if you mention anything vaguely political. We had an ad rejected for trying to fundraise for an LGBT organization because it was determined to be political, and we don't have the clearances to post political ads. Those familiar with the Cambridge Analytica scandal about data harvesting will be probably horrified to learn that Facebook has no way of policing those third parties who reaped tons of data between the years of 2010 and 2014. That data is out there forever, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. Paying for ads on Etsy for small businesses with storefronts there can be an option, but with rising costs and constant changes to their billing, some makers are paying 30% per sale to Etsy for the ad placement and the transaction and the payment processing fees and. The same can be said for Amazon. Amazon's monumental success with product search algorithms on their website has led to the explosion of Amazon Basics products. Amazon is undermining brand advertising and visibility to suit their own aims and bottom line. These companies hold the platforms, determine the search algorithms for those platforms, and then turn around and sell small businesses ads in order to help them get in front of the search algorithm that they created. Search engines aren't much better for small businesses. Not many people who Google yarn are looking for hand-dyed yarn, and so those ad placements netted me no sales and several emails in my inbox about how my stock was much too expensive. When a company that has repeatedly been shown to show high-paying job advertisements to more men than women, how can we trust that they have our best interests at heart? Some would say, well, the algorithm did that. It was a computer, not people. But I would challenge that and ask, well, who made the algorithm? It didn't birth itself out of the cosmos as an infallible, inherently just piece of technology that we can use to evolve as a society. It was created by people, and so it will reflect the biases that we hold as a society. For a long time, Googling black girl on an image search would result in pages of pornographic material when Googling white girl revealed a series of cute photos of little girls in hair bows and stock images of girls sitting in a classroom setting. Who allowed that to exist in the algorithm? Who didn't think that we needed checks inside those algorithms to account for systemic inequality? As machine learning becomes more and more present in our lives and companies use our data and metadata to predict our purchasing habits to sell advertising space, we have to stop and think about who is building the algorithms and why. Who are algorithms helping? Who are algorithms hurting? Algorithms aren't going to go away, and so long as we don't have ownership over the platforms, we are all subject to what they decide for us. If you want to help small businesses, give them a like, comment, a share on their post, and tell your friends and your family. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I did do an immense amount of research for this particular deep dive video, and I will have links to all of my sources down there in the comments if you want to have a bit of a closer look. I obviously couldn't fit all of the information into a video, or this would be like a 4-hour video, and honestly, who has time for that? I don't, and I'm sure you don't either. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and please do drop a comment down below with your thoughts on advertising or on the organic reach or on algorithms down there in the comments to help us, yes, beat the algorithm. Thank you all so much for watching, and please stay tuned for more deep dive videos in the future. The next deep dive will be on whether ethical advertising is possible for small craft-based businesses. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.